Jackson. Tracy Fowler, Senior Executive Director of Student Services. I'm bringing you our Student Code of Civility. This falls on our strategic plan goal for student health and safety. So our Student Code of Civility now exists under Policy 4303 as a regulation. And so I've attached with the Code of Civility a table of contents just so you can kind of see as I'm going through that, and I want Mr. Swankler did too for us to look at this. We've made several revisions to the book. We have for many years had a Code of Civility that was very much looking at kind of a more punitive measures where we said, here are the rules, when we break the rules, here are the consequences. There's not much that's changed regarding those things. Those things are very much the same. But we wanted to show what we are doing to support students and what things are in place regarding those. So we put a lot of information in here that we've not really put there before because we thought it was very important for people to be able to see those things. So just kind of walk you through this book. One of the things we did include on like page 2 and 3, we have our Chatham County Schools Habits of Character. So we're going to be highlighting students this year. We've had our Power of One. We've highlighted our staff. We're going to highlight students. This is going to be in line with our new EL curriculum. There are habits of character that fall in line with that. So we're going to use this to highlight different character traits every month, focus on those. We had these years ago that align with our counselor guidance lessons. And so we're going to kind of go back to those and put those in place. And every month we're going to have a focus. The schools will have a focus on those. And then we're going to highlight some students to kind of represent those.
In what way will you highlight those students?
Well, kind of the same way that we're looking at Power of One awards. So different schools will kind of say, hey, these are the students we have in the school, and then we'd have some that maybe we'd recognize on the district level, and the website's being set up the same way to recognize students. So we also have a place here for student rights and responsibilities, and what students can expect that they have rights for in school, like the right to receive an equality education. But what we also know that they have the responsibility for being respectful while they're in school. They have a responsibility to come to school. They should have the right to be able to be in a safe environment. So there's some things that we wanted to spell out, kind of, hey, these are the things we expect of you, these are the things you can kind of expect from us. The next little section is getting help and then how to help others. So I wanted to highlight that we do have some things we've not had in place before around our Daybreak Health. So every child in Chatham County Schools can receive online therapy through Daybreak Health. If you are under 10, your parents have to participate in that. Parents have to obviously agree to this, and they have to work with the intake process no matter what. Then we have it outlined that this is the way that you report if something's happening, going on, so we can make sure that you can get help for others, your friends, if they see that there's something going on there. And then we wanted to focus on like our MTSS interventions. We have academic interventions. We also have behavioral interventions. This is something that comes up a lot of times. I think that we don't always have good explanations as how we support kids. Something comes up, a parent may hear what's happening in the classroom, they may not really understand kind of what's happening to support a student. So that outlines that process for behavior support. It outlines what all students receive, and then it outlines the things that you receive should you need additional support. So we have Tier 1 supports, which is for everyone, Tier 2 and 3 supports, which are for students who need additional help. And then we have areas where we're layering support on. It just continues to talk about that through page 11. And so we wanted to look at then, well, how are we, yes ma'am?
I have a question just about the mental health for kids, that are younger. When you say that the parents' involvement, can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Mm-hmm.
I say that just because I want to make sure I understand. I thought I did when I read it leading up to the meeting, but now I'm wondering if I
The
understand.
Daybreak Health, you mean?
Yes, when we talk about involving parents, and do younger children are they still able to have sessions with counselors without their parents present, or?
So with Daybreak Health, since it's teletherapy, they have a policy in Daybreak Health that their parents have to be in the sessions.
So what happens if we have a child that maybe is being abused by a parent? So So I know my mother used to be an elementary school guidance counselor in Chatham County Schools, and that was not uncommon. I mean, it's not frequent, but you know, would a kid be able to disclose something if they were in danger in their own home, say? And as a domestic violence advocate, I know that sometimes happened. So how?
And I mean, I think that that's where we've gotta know that, you know, this is a person that the most they would see them is 12 times in a 50-minute session, and they have adults every single day in their building,
Yeah.
teachers, counselors, social workers. So our
So
hope
they
would
still
be,
have that, yeah.
yeah, they have all those folks that they would wanna reach out to. That's who we'd want them reaching out to.
Right, that's what I was
Yeah.
thinking when I read it, but I wanted to make sure.
I would also add that would probably be more the exception, but that as a general rule, part of our work with Daybreak is that kids who are under 10, there has to be an adult in that session. That's kind of their rule. If there are exceptions, I think we have to kind of course, there may be court involvement, there may be other cross-agency collaboration, there may be other things that may have spurred that on, but we, as a general rule, that's something that we wanted to make sure was a provision that was in place for parents, because a lot of the parents for the younger kid, they're the ones making the referrals.
Well, that's, with all of this, the parents are
The
making.
parents are making the referrals.
Thank you for clarifying.
Of course, thank you.
And to piggyback on with what Jane Allen said, if there's an abuse case, that's legal, that goes to the Department of Social Service, the Sheriff's Department,
We require.
then all this other stuff may kick in, but, you know, we have a legal obligation to follow the law, so, it gets reported.
And so then on page 11 and 12 is looking at what we would do to kind of determine the disciplinary response. Here are the things that we would look at, that we don't just automatically go to, this is the thing that you did and this is the consequences. That we wanna look at the student's age, we wanna look at, do they have a disability, just what's happening, because there are things that are included there. And then we gave some information here that we would want to talk to kids about as we're kind of walking through what happened in the situation. And then this really breaks down into the levels of, the defined levels and behaviors. What we realized when we started kind of really looking at some of the other districts is they really outline what happens in their classroom situations, and we were definitely looking at school-wide. And we've had for a very long time a level 1, 2, 3, 4s, and 5s. So we didn't want to move away from that, and we thought we didn't want to make confusion, so we added a level A, B, and C, which are classroom incidents. So these are things that would happen in the classroom, and we didn't define these very specifically because each school has different things they do regarding classrooms, and obviously we want teachers to be able to run their classrooms. But what this would be is that you're now being able to say, hey, this is a teacher, they're responding to a situation, and they're working through. So this is an example, level A, teacher addresses a situation. Level B, maybe now they're addressing it more than once, and then it works through what those different things would look like. And then it goes back, and then you would find something that now is looking familiar to you because of our charts that we've had in the past, our levels 1, 2, and 3. These are very similar. There's nothing that's different here. We did expand out a little further. I think we had it very tight last year. I think there were times that it didn't give enough flexibility for some principals. We found that what they needed to have a little bit more wiggle room there to just kind of, because you're working with different situations and different circumstances, so we broadened that out a little bit. So this very clearly kind of explains levels 1, 2, and 3. So as you go then to the matrix part on page 19 through 24, this does look different. We've had really long lists of, here are the things that go through level 1, 2, and 3, these long definitions, and what we did this time is we took these things and we put them in a chart, because what we found is that we were sometimes defining things over different levels and saying them different ways. So if you take, for instance, the first thing that's on this chart, showing disrespect or aggression in any form to a student, staff, or anyone on campus or virtually. This could happen. Our level C is that highest level in a classroom. So sometimes this is going to end up in a principal's office because now they've dealt with it a third time and now it can end up there. So this is across many levels here. because this could look a lot of different ways, but we had this on every level, we just were saying it in multiple ways. So we put these in charts and tried to make this a little bit more, not repetitive and not having these really long lists of different, explanations of different actions, without leaving out anything that would be things that were breaking the law, things we had to report to law enforcement, and try not to leave out anything that we would have had within this book for quite a while. So I know this is a very different layout than what we've had, but there's not really anything in here that's missing. Hopefully that's the point, for it to be simple, for somebody to go to it. And you've used a lot of books, so you've seen a lot of books over your time here, so that felt simple, that's what we're going for. We want definitely for people to be able to look at it and say, yes, we can see here, this feels clear. We had, I had all the high school principals, 2 middle school principals, 2 K principals, and 2 elementary principals look and give feedback around it. And I think they felt good about it. They felt good about the information there, so.
Well, they get to live with it, so.
They do. And, you know, every year, we'll show up like, you know, hey, we worked through it, now it's like, we need to tweak something. Sure. Right? So that's where we are.
Any questions?
Okay.
Tracy, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's see,